Let's start today with a reassuring thought. We could all use a little reassurance, don't you think? Nice, nice, comfortable thing. You don't have to decide anything today. You can go ahead and think about that thing for a little bit longer. You can research it a little bit more. You can wait until you are fully ready, confident, informed, prepared, supported, and spiritually aligned. And that's excellent news because ready has never arrived for anyone who ever did something meaningful. Human beings are very good at one particular skill, imagining a future, then immediately interrogating it until it confesses. We think about the future and then we look at it from every conceivable possible angle. What if? What if I want it and I don't get it? What if I want it and have to work harder than I thought? What if people notice? What if I fall flat on my face and everybody sees it? What if I succeed and I can't hold on to it? Whew. And then there's the quietest question, the one that does the most damage. Who am I to want what I want? Hmm. Now, all of that, it sounds very responsible. That's a very mature perspective. It's thoughtful, yes. But most of the time, it is not wisdom. It is not wise. Most of the time, that is fear, and it's fear dressed up in wearing, having really nice manners. So today, I would like to talk about deciding, not fantasizing, not manifesting, not waiting, deciding. Fear is not evidence that something is wrong. Fear shows up whenever responsibility is in close proximity to it. Scripture understood this long before psychology ever gave it language. God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. So fear, it doesn't make you careful, it makes you hesitant. It makes us pause. And hesitation, when prolonged, you know what that becomes? It becomes avoidance. It's procrastination. Bad things. That's why the parable of the talents is so uncomfortable. You remember that one? The servant who is punished most harshly is not the one who failed. It's the one that didn't do anything. And it's not because he was lazy. It's because he was afraid. So, biblically speaking, the great failure is not falling short, it's bearing what was entrusted to you. And then we could jump ahead to modern psychology because it teaches us that most what if questions aren't really talking about outcomes, they're talking about identity. So, what if I fail? What does that say about me as an individual? What if I succeed? Who will I have to become in order to actually do that? What will people think? Will I lose belonging? We sure like to affiliate. We sure like to be part of tribes. It's important, obviously. So these things make sense. Indecision is a powerful form of self-protection. Think about it. As long as you don't decide, you remain potential. And potential, it feels clean, it's untested, it's even a little bit noble. But that potential never builds confidence. Only responsibility builds confidence and rewards it. And confidence is not a prerequisite for action. It is the byproduct of surviving that action. Kierkegaard called anxiety the dizziness of freedom. And what a wonderful phrase that is. The dizziness of freedom. Anxiety is the dizziness of freedom. It's not the fear of failure. It's fear of possibility, because to choose is to collapse infinite futures into one. To decide is to accept consequence. Nietzsche stripped this bare. Become who you are. Become who you are. Whew. Those are smart guys. So that's not inspirational. That is a confrontational thing. Confront the reality. It implies that avoiding your calling is not neutral. It is without question a choice. The Stoics made this very practical. Some things are up to you, most things are not up to you. We have very little control over the circumstances of our lives, things that happen to you, the circumstances. We don't have a lot of control over that. We have complete control over how we think, feel, and respond, but not to the circumstances necessarily. And they taught us that peace comes from placing effort only where effort belongs. Hmm. So, how do we do it? What is the framework for making this happen? You have to decide what matters. What is it that you want? What is it that's important? You need to pick up and carry that by doing what's necessary or required in service of what matters, and you execute that, and then you let the rest of it go. What are my meaningful few activities that I must do to get the things that I want? Could it really be that straightforward? Is it really that simple? Well, yeah, it's simple, but it's not easy. It sounds easy, but it does hard. Decide what matters, pick that up and carry it, let the rest of it go. Most people don't want too much. It's not that we want too much. We want everything vaguely and nothing specifically. Is that true for you? You don't want too much, but you want everything vaguely and nothing specifically. When you know this is what matters, this is what must be done, and then I do it, that forces a verdict. It's not what could I do, it's what deserves my time, attention, energy, and money. Your most valuable resources, your MVRs, time, energy, attention, and money. It all comes down to how we allocate those things. And if we can get really clear on this is what I want, this is what matters, this is what must be done, and then you allocate your resources aligned and based on those things that you want. It's not forever. You don't do it perfectly. You just have to do it honestly. And that's why decision precedes clarity. It's why readiness comes after obedience. This is why people who act become confident and people who wait become bitter. So I want to be precise. I don't think that you're afraid of failing. Failure is 100% survivable. What you fear is discovering that you were capable and that you chose comfort instead. That's the cost most people do not want to pay. Because regret doesn't arrive all at once, it accumulates quietly, somewhat politely, and unfortunately invisibly. And it happens one delayed decision at a time. So I want to leave you with this. You don't fear failure, you fear discovering you were capable and chose not to act. Wanting is not the risk, deciding is. So decide what matters, accept the cost, carry your part of it. Because responsibility is a heck of a lot lighter than regret is. Decide what matters, carry the cost. Service of all of this, I wrote a book. It's called The Meaningful Few, Designing a Life That Actually Works. It's not about doing more, it's about doing less better. So you can get your copy on Amazon. I'll link in the notes. And you can also go to mymeaningfulfew.com for some free resources and just some additional resources, food for thought. Because I know you are always hungry for food for thought. As always, do your part by doing your best.